one. So I'm currently in the middle of a 2-night, 3-day walk. Once we get to the top, pitch it up. I'll just talk through the tent a bit because I haven't seen many people do a review on YouTube. Obviously I know the trusty compact one is well reviewed and there's plenty of videos out on that. The Helm Elite one seems a little bit under-videoed, so I'll show you a bit of a video in the field and me actually using it out. Obviously I think the main reason being it's a relatively new tent. I think it came out last year, early last year. I think early last year, don't quote me on that. I'll check somewhere and if I wrote the amendment in, I was wrong. Yeah, it's just like basically a lighter version of the compact one. And obviously instead of polyester, I think it's a 20 denier nylon. So we'll talk about that a bit. Waterproofing, windproofing. Nothing much has changed really, it's just a bit lighter. But I'll show you. Get out the bottom of the bag to begin with, which is easier said than done with one hand. So it compacts down pretty nice and small. That's got a -6 bag and my tent, both inner and fly, in the bottom of the 38 litre bag. So we'll get this. So let's get this pitched up. So there it is, all pitched up with the sun just about to drop off a pillar. So a bit of a quick walk around the outside, exactly the same shape and size as the compact. Tonight I have pitched it off the ground nicely because I'm expecting possibly quite a high condensation evening. And last few times I've used this tent in colder conditions, obviously it's not colder, I have had a condensation build up, but that is my fault by pitching it too low to the ground and not opening enough vents really. There are these two big vents either side, but obviously if you don't quite get the wind coming in the right direction, you don't get as much airflow, so leaving that bottom gap between the fly and the ground really helps with condensation movement. So we'll go in and have a look. So I think the initial difference is a smaller zip compared to the compact. Now I know a review noted that this could be an issue and more fiddly blah blah. I've had no issues as long as you hit a nice taut pitch. No issues with this snagging at all. I don't have a tripod today unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to pause, roll this up and continue. There we go, nicely rolled up. Just got one of the little plastic toggles. Some people have issues with these, I personally don't. They do their job as long as you roll it up nice and tight. And the wind ain't going to take that off like some of the magnetic ones that they have in these lighter weight tents these days. Inside we've got a decent amount of space. I'm pretty sure this is 77 centimetres, so plenty to accommodate a wide pad. I've had an Alpkit Radiant in here and I believe that's 60 centimetres wide. And that completely fine in here. Obviously you have limited floor space with a mat in that wide, but I've had no issues really. Smallish vestibule, I believe this is 44 centimetres wide. And again through here you have the little posting hatch. It's not as easy to unzip when there's nothing on the floor. But there we go, another 44 there. I tend to put my bag in here, resting on its side. In terms of pockets, got a generous pocket at this end, another one here, and obviously a little light loop there. It's not a cramped tent, it really isn't. It's compact, but it's not cramped. I've had ample space for plenty of, I'll put this kit in a bit later tonight and I'll show you how I sort of organise things. I tend to cook in this vestibule here, have my food and other easy access items there, clothing on the floor and the bag over there, and cook there, and if it's raining have it zipped up and there's still a bit of space to cook. But yeah, there's this lining which adds, I know I can see it's similar to the Southern Cross 2's inner. Don't know how that compares with the compact inner. I do not own the compact, I can only say from the research I've done. But yeah, very simple to put up, holds its tension well. Love these things. These are so underrated on tents. Just putting them up slack and then tightening them up. And obviously if you wanted to leave a gap, it just makes it so much easier to do that. But yeah, there's the setup for now. This is how they do it in one of the photos. It just means you can have a sort of bit of rain cover whilst you're cooking here. And with a little trekking pole just leaning outwards. So as you can see inside, there's a bit of space on either side. This is a narrower mat, so this is the Rab Ultrasphere 4.5, and it does taper quite heavily at the bottom, so it leaves a lot of space. If you had a 60 centimetre pad, you'd probably be left with pretty as much space as probably that. Not much, but for a solo camper, it is kind of ideal. Yeah, I think it's the Goldilocks between size and durability and weight and pack size as well. This is perfect for putting a bag down. I've fit a 65 litre in here before quite easily. It does touch the fly, so expect to get a bit of condensation or frost on your bag, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, sun's just coming down now, just drying out some socks and the trail runners. But I think we'll put a bit more kit in and show you what it's like. So there you have it, with 3 days with the kit in, food, the bag that the tent was in, utilities, wash bag, etc., stove, AeroPress, water, bags through there, clothing, sleeping bag and everything. The only item I've left out is tonight's food, my coat and book and sit mat. Well, that is everything in there. And as you can see, it's with a 38 litre bag, nothing's touching that wall, which is nice. I want to see that. Should add a little bit of tension on there because I've just been messing about with changing the tension of the tent. It's better. But as you can see, it's just a nice little home. But yeah, it is cosy. I'd say for somebody who wants a little bit more space, I would go for a slightly bigger tent. I think my plan is to own an X-Dome soon, X-Dome 1 Plus, and use this as my cosy tent, shoulder season tent, windier conditions tent, solo, sort of longer distance. Better weather, the X-Dome will become a more spacious, luxurious tent, and then obviously full-blown winter, my Southern Cross 2 will come into play there. But I love this tent. It just ticks all the boxes for me. I can sit up in it, I can stretch out in it just about. I would say anybody taller than me would struggle. I'm 5'11", and my feet do touch the inner mesh, but not to the point where it's touching the fly kind of thing. And that's only when I'm stretched out. When I'm sleeping and stuff, I kind of a little bit more scrunched up, legs tucked in a bit, so loads of space. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed a little walkthrough of the Helm Elite 1. So now I'm back to my trip. I just thought I'd talk you through a little bit more of the specs. I didn't really delve into them out there because I didn't really fancy reading off a phone or whatever. Or from the best of memory, I couldn't remember. I had no signal either. So I just come back and do a little bit of talk over if anybody interested in the main differences. So in terms of pack weight, the Elite comes in at about 1.75 kilos and the Compact comes in at around 2 kilos. So you're saving roughly 300 to 350 grams. They do vary. I think mine, when I weighed it, came in at about 1.8, 1.82, something like that. So they're going to vary, especially when you've got them packed and how you pack them, etc. In terms of fly sheet fabric differences, the Elite has a 20 denier ripstop nylon and the same for the inner fabric. In terms of the fly sheet on the Compact, it's going to come in at a 68 denier polyester ripstop, so just known for being a bit more durable, well, definitely a bit more durable. In terms of long-term rain exposure, supposedly nylon wets out. I don't think mine does. I think Wild Country did a lot of work on that, with working with nylon and prolonged rain exposure. So I've had no issues with that. Hydrostatic head wise, both exactly the same, both coming in at 4,000 millimeters of hydrostatic head. On the ground sheet, you've got a solid 5,000 millimeters of hydrostatic head. Now I've pitched this tent on wet, boggy ground, you know. I'm using it in the Lake District in sort of shoulder season and winter conditions. It's going to be wet, and I've had no issues, always been dry. I don't use a ground sheet. Thinking of getting one, but I haven't used one for the 20 odd nights I've spent in the tent, and it's been completely fine, no damage at all. You know, sometimes I'm camping near like rockier areas and in grass, and had no issues, no scuffs, no nothing. I think those are the main differences. They're all, apart from that, they're pretty similar tents. Supposedly, from what I've read, the Elite is meant to have a slightly more improved ventilation system. I still get condensation, but you know, I'm in the Lake District, can be quite a humid environment, you know, and there's quite often big temperature changes within the afternoon to night, so you're going to expect condensation. It dries out really quickly though with the Elite. This trip that I've just done, I had some condensation on my first night, and got to the top of Pillar, hung it all out, read my book for about 10-15 minutes, was dry, everything was bone dry, lovely to get back into. So you're going to get a bit of condensation, but it dries out quickly, so is it really that bad? Sort of the take-home messages, it's a really capable shelter. I'm not going to say bomb-proof, because no tent is bomb-proof, but it's very capable. It's not going to be an absolute tank, but it is very solid, especially for its weight and the material. It is a very robust tent. I've had it in something like 40-mile-an-hour winds with gusts of 45 upwards, and it's been fine. Wouldn't deliberately go and seek a high ridge in high winds and go yes, but I would say it is generally a pretty good tent in terms of just all-roundness, you know, weight, and it's just reliable. You know, you're not going to get caught out. You're not going to, you know, because some of the lighter weight tents I've had, if the weather changes something, you sometimes get caught out with these lighter weight tents. You know, with wind and stuff, they're not as up to it. This, as a semi-freestanding, semi-geodesic tent, it's just a beast. I love it. It's great. So anyone looking at one, I would recommend it. Obviously, weigh up your pros and cons between the Compact and the Elite, but I've could seriously recommend the Elite as a good tent.